Welcome back to Google Developers Live at I/O. I'm Louis Gray here with my special guest, Chris Wilson from the Google Chrome team. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Louis.
Now, Chris, this is a special treat. We both get kind of stand up a little bit, and we're going to talk about some fun things, including web audio. We've had you on Google Developers Live a couple times before.
You have, actually, to talk about web audio. Yeah.
Web audio. I mean, this is really a specialty and a passion for you, as what you've told me.
Yes, it is definitely a passion in my personal life, too. So I kind of carried that over into my work life.
And you live up in Seattle, right?
I do currently, although I'm in the process of moving down here.
Seattle's kind of appropriate, so we let your hair down, get the guitar out. This all just kind of works very
Get the whole
smoothly.
grunge look going. We'll see how it works down here.
Absolutely. So, on the Chrome team, we really talk about three things most of the time, and it's speed, it's simplicity, and it's security.
Yes.
But with the web audio, you're also trying to make the web do more.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on with web audio.
So one of the goals with web audio was first to make it so that we could do really good audio for gaming, for any kind of interactive application where you wanted to be able to precisely time things, be able to, you hit the fire button, you don't want to hear it sometime in the future. You want to hear it right when you hit the fire button. You want to be able to, do all kinds of processing on that too. And you want to be able to synchronize things together too, which has been really hard to do in the web platform prior to web audio. And now with web audio, you can actually do that. We also have a really powerful processing system. So you can do, reverb and other convolution effects. You can do filtering effects. You can place things in a 3D sound field and all kinds of other neat stuff that is really interesting for gaming, of course. Like all those things, immersive games really need those kinds of features. But you also really want the ability to do more than that for kind of regular digital audio workstation synthesis kind of
like professional
stuff as
musicians and that kind of stuff. I mean, when you look at the verticals that are here, not only games, but what other type of people are really going to be looking at web audio as a solution for them?
Exactly. Well, I think that gaming first and foremost was what we had to hit just to begin, just to get off the ground. And now we're starting to carry over into some of these more professional audio applications. And we're starting to see a lot of people kind of come out of the woodwork and start building applications that do things like drum machines and synthesizers and other processing type stuff as well. And that's really, I think, what I'm here to talk about today is kind of where we've come since last year at I/O. Last year at I/O, I gave a talk about web audio. Still up on YouTube, of course. Got tons of great information. I think almost all of that is still completely relevant and really a great.
But since then, we've introduced new APIs, right? We've made Chrome stronger, faster. And I think you actually brought a couple demos for us.
I did.
Maybe you can introduce us to what this demo is all about.
Sure.
And let's get the instruments out. You didn't bring a drum machine, did you?
I didn't bring a drum machine, although I do have a drum machine app on my demos page, so you can check it out. But one of the things I wanted to start with was when I did the web audio talk last year, I was exploring the API myself, and what I did to explore it was I built a Vocoder. And for anybody who remembers kind of early 80s synth rock, a vocoder is like the robotic voice effect, right? So you get this really, it's a processing effect. I'm not going to go into tons of detail.
Information Society, kind of that genre.
Exactly.
I like that stuff way too much, to be honest.
That was all vocoding. And so vocoding, takes a frequency analysis of one audio sound and it maps that frequency analysis over time onto a different audio sound. And I did this demo as part of my talk, and I didn't go into a ton of depth because there was a lot of code that I built for it. But one of the exciting things that I was really hoping we would get in before I/O last year, but it missed, we were in summer, I think, midsummer before we got it in, was audio input. So not only can you generate these sounds on the computer, play back pre-recorded audio snippets or build things with synthesis, but you can actually get audio input from the computer.
From live audio as well.
Exactly. So you can get the microphone on your computer or any other audio source that's plugged into it.
And I understand you brought an audio source today.
It. I did. I brought a couple of them actually. So we're gonna start. I want to show the Vocoder was the first app that I was like, as soon as I got a build from the developer, I was like, oh, I got to go add this. So my wife was there making dinner, and I'm like, yeah, don't bother me right now. I'm busy. I'm busy.
Priorities.
And so I got this up and running in about 25 minutes. And basically, I took this this audio vocoder that I'd built, which could work off of a pre-processed sound source. So let's play, and you can hear kind of what it sounds like.
They're playing that off the computer now.
And we're playing it off the computer right now. So this is all I pre-recorded myself talking and then applied the vocoding effect to it. So now I can take this and just click my little live input button, and I have a live audio source.
Are you
just a microphone right here. I'm not going to sing for you. I actually told one of my coworkers, singing, not really something I'm prepared to do in public yet.
No singing today, sorry guys.
Sorry, not this time. So one of the things that we do here, of course, is we have to ask, is it okay if we use your audio input source? Because we don't want to let any random web page pop up and say, oh sure, you can listen in to all of your users.
Absolutely.
So
permission first, security.
So permission first, security is always a theme here. But now you can tell I actually have this vocoder effect on my voice. Everything that I say is running through this vocoding processing effect. And by the way, all of the code that I'm doing here, and maybe we should stop doing the vocoding effect because it's probably a little bit distracting. We could use this for the rest of the talk.
Sure.
But all of this processing is actually being done by the Web Audio API. My own code actually just sets up this whole network of nodes, and then the audio processing API does everything. The only bit of my JavaScript code that's running right now is the stuff that animates that neat little visual effect on the screen. So the next thing though, like the next thing that I built after I added this into the vocoder was I just started playing with some input effects.
And which input is this?
So this is still pulling off the microphone, and it's just a few simple effects like delay. But I'm going to turn this off for a second, and one of the things that's really important to understand is that input isn't just microphones. It's not just the mic that's plugged into your computer. So what I've got hooked up here is just a standard USB audio input, but I have the ability to plug in different audio sources, and I brought along my trusty guitar.
That's a nice guitar. Are you going to show everybody?
It is a nice guitar. This is my baby. This is one of my babies. This is my electric baby. But so what I've got running off here, and I'm going to pick a different sound here just so we can see it. What I've got running here is just a regular 1/4 inch output out of my guitar, runs straight into the USB audio. In fact, I can change the effect mix here, and you can hear what it sounds like. It's kind of twangy, it's standard kind of thing. But if I crank the effects mix up, what you'll hear is me playing, running through effects that are all being done in web audio. I just set up a bunch of nodes to do various things in here. So this is my bass effects. I didn't want to bring my bass along because that was way too much to take on the plane.
And while you're doing that, we can all see the visual running through the computer at the same time.
Yeah, so I've already talked about one of the first things we had to do was this precise timing of audio. Like we had to give you the ability to precisely schedule things, set them up, synchronize them, do things together. And I've got a bunch of other really great stuff too that I don't want to get into today because it takes a while, but there's a lot of powerful stuff you can do with that scheduling. And then we added all this processing stuff. Like the things you're seeing here are all filters and convolution effects, distortion using wave shaping and things like that. But the last thing that the Web Audio API really has is a great ability to do analysis. Like we have built-in FFT-based frequency analysis. So you can actually see, as I'm playing here, this is a frequency breakdown. In fact, I can switch this to just a straightforward frequency graph. And you can see the rich harmonics because this wah bass effect is actually trimming off all the higher frequencies. It clips all of the stuff that's on there to the right because, of course, lower frequencies are on the left here.
Right.
But if I switch to something else, like just a distorted effect, you can see the distorted effect has lots of high-end energy. And this is all being done, all the analysis of this is being done by the Web Audio API. So I have code, of course, that goes in and pulls the numbers out and draws them on the screen, draws them on an HTML5 canvas, but I'm not actually having to do the processing of the bits in JavaScript.
Now, a lot of this is programs that you've written based on the Web Audio API. Now, a couple questions. Number one, is the Web Audio API always available in every Chrome install? Or is it something else you have to go get?
It's a great question. The Web Audio API is actually available in Chrome across the board. It's not something you need to add. As I showed before, your users have to allow microphone input, live audio input. They have to say it's okay to be able to get access to that.
And the second thing I was going to ask is, how do developers get started with this? Is there someone who really wants to either look through the Web Audio API to add it to their games, or really find some other way to manipulate sound?
So
what do they do?
I think there are a lot of demos out there now. There's a lot of code out there now. All of these things, by the way, are on webaudionemos.appspot.com.
Okay.
If you actually just search for web audio demos, this
gonna
comes
be
up.
number one.
This is number one, I think. I'm pretty sure this is still number one.
In all major search engines that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this has a whole bunch of my demos. You can see most of these have a link to the repo on GitHub. Like these are all open source stuff. You can take it in and do whatever you want with it. I forgot where I was going now.
We were talking about how we're going to develop. I mean, you said it's on GitHub.
Yes.
You can find it at WebAppSpot, yeah?
The one thing I did want to say is one of the other things that I'm really excited about this year is we're just on the cusp of getting all the stuff into Chrome for Android.
Right.
So you're starting to get you're starting to get all of this processing power on the web platform on mobile devices as well.
Interesting.
This is a much more challenging thing to do because there's a broad spectrum of devices and audio hardware in those devices.
But there's been some of that simplicity.
But it's super powerful.
You had Android Studio that just came out, which is going to really help people be able to code Android applications against many different models and types and see how that works. And as you look at Chrome, Chrome came out for Android not too long ago. It's out on iOS as well now. And it's really interesting to see that once you start writing for a specific platform, and that platform becomes available to different people on different operating systems and different handsets, it's just really ubiquitous, and it's available everywhere.
Exactly. That's really the thing that has had me really excited about web audio from the beginning, was the idea that eventually we would get this everywhere. We would get it as a ubiquitous platform. I don't need to have a particular device. I actually, as I've been preparing to move, I've been packing up my studio, and I've had to think through each piece, like, am I really going to need this anymore? Because by the time I unpack, I could rebuild a bunch of this stuff just as web audio APIs, and I don't really need to go, I don't need to drag the hardware around anymore.
Right.
Like what I brought here with me today, what I brought with me down to I/O was basically just a USB audio input, one microphone, one guitar, and no effects boxes or anything like that. And I can still do tons of neat stuff.
Thank you for bringing all that stuff over. Thanks for joining us with your guitar and your audio equipment. It seems like we ran really fast through this. So I definitely want people to check out webaudio.appspot.com.
Web audio demos.
Web audio demos, thank you. Webaudiodemos.appspot.com. Thanks for joining me, Chris. We have Chris on regularly on GDL and all the Chrome team. So definitely follow us at developers.google.com/live and subscribe to Google Developers on YouTube. We're going to be right back in a couple of minutes to talk about YouTube and the sandbox and wrap our I/O programming.
Thanks.